Good morning. Good morning, my beautiful friends. This is your wake up call with Maui Paul. I am Maui Paul. We are here today to say some nice things about ourselves. I want to thank you guys so much for being here. Chat's pretty active today. So good morning. Good morning to Susan. Good morning, Lane. Good morning, Jan. Good morning, Tony and Lauren. Wonderful to see all of you guys here today. Good morning, Shauna. Good to see you too. It is indeed. Thursday. We are here. Yeah, I know. I am indeed wearing sunglasses, Susan. It's I have a bit of a headache and I don't want to be staring at the screen. And I got some dental work to go do a little bit later on today. So I'm trying to make my life like as comfortable as possible. Also I look cool, so there's that too. But anyways, yeah, thank you guys so much for being here. Anyways, yeah, we're here to say some good stuff about us. We do this every morning, Monday through Friday at 9 a.m., assuming that I wake up for it. It is the wake up call, after all. But anyway, yeah, so we're going to do what we do every morning, Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. I'm going to pull a card. I'm going to ask you if you are the affirmation on the card, and we are going to respond out loud together. I am that affirmation. Uh, let's see here. Yeah, I love it. I love it, Susan. I love it, Jan. Anyways, yeah, you love the sunglasses too, Sean. I should hang out with the sunglasses. But anyways, yeah. So we're gonna pull a card. I'm gonna ask you if you are the affirmation on the card. We're gonna respond out loud together. I am that affirmation, and then we're gonna write down in the chat and talk about what it really means in our lives. So let's have some fun. Let's pull a card and say that today I am balanced. I am balanced. I center my mind and body. So I am balanced. I center my mind and body. Are you balanced? You are balanced. You center your mind and body. I'm going to write that down in the comments and encourage you to do the same thing. Because as we write this stuff down, it activates a totally different part of our brain. And when we're doing this kind of work, it's really important to activate all the parts of our brain that that are related to linguistic cognition and comprehension. Indeed, we affirm that we are balanced people, that we center our mind and our body. The fact is that our mind and our body are very much connected. And so whenever I'm having trouble centering my mind, whenever I'm having intrusive thoughts that are not really what I want to be having, whenever I'm having thoughts that are not serving me to have these thoughts, one of the things that I'll do is I'll just go out for a walk. I will I will leave the place where I am stuck in my thoughts, and I'll go take a walk, and I'll go anywhere else, and I'll do anything else, and I'll get into my body. And if those thoughts still will not leave me, I will start to run. Because believe me when I tell you that when I am when I am exercising, that I my brain doesn't really have the ability to think anything other than what are my basic autonomic functions? How do I continue to do those things so I can remain alive? And so that's just a way that I maintain my balance, and it's a way that I have always encouraged other people to maintain theirs when they're having when their brain is kind of going off the rails, because sometimes all of us, our brains go off the rails, and we start thinking something, or we start thinking a thought that isn't particularly helpful for us, and then we start telling a story about that thought which isn't even true, and then we start feeling feelings about that story that isn't even true, and before we know it, we've wasted a tremendous amount of time thinking about things that we don't want to think about and feeling things that we don't want to feel. And so just for me, just going for a walk will short circuit all of that stuff and get me right back into the feelings of love and gratitude and appreciation for what is all around me, for the amazingness that is my life. And it helps me tremendously. A good friend once told me, we were talking about depression, and he said whenever you're depressed, first thing you need to do is clean your room, and the second thing you need to do is go out in nature. And if you can't find the energy to clean your room, the first thing you need to do is go out in nature and take a nature walk. And the second thing you need to do is come home and clean your room. He said, and if after walking around in nature and cleaning your room, you're still feeling depressed, then after that, then it's time to think about other solutions. But first, manifest in our physical spaces. And I think that's something very important. I think there's a huge amount of truth in that we need to manifest in our physical spaces, that we need to that we need to express dominion over the physical spaces in our worlds. And in doing so, it gives us that it gives us that tremendous um, ability to recenter ourselves in the present. Because when we move something from one side of the table to the other, or when we intentionally clean some clutter out of our space, we have to bring ourselves into the present moment. And when we go out into nature, we have to recognize and realize that we are a part of nature, that nature itself has this wonderful medicinal quality to it, that all the things in nature don't seem to be struggling or striving the way that we are struggling or striving, that nature just seems to be very much in balance. I go out into nature and I look at the trees and I look at the clouds and I think to myself, I'm like, you know what? Those trees, yeah, they're all in competition with each other for sun and light and stuff like that. However, the trees, even though there doesn't seem to be any kind of an organization to them, are all growing in the right spot. I can't point at a tree and saying that tree is growing in the wrong spot unless it's growing over my house, in which case it's definitely growing in the wrong spot. Uh, when I go out, the further that I go out into nature, the more that I recognize that everything in there is just has just found its equilibrium. And if it's all found its equilibrium, I can find my equilibrium as well. And so I am balanced, and I center my mind and my body. And then the same thing with my body. When my mind is racing, I just go do something with my body. Well, the same is quite similar. Whenever I'm feeling like some kind of restless feelings in my body, I will and I can't make those restless feelings in my body go away by moving my body. Something that I'll do is I'll center my mind. I'll pull out my journal and I'll start writing in my journal, and I'll just start with a question for myself. I'm like, why do I feel so restless in my body? Question mark. And then I'm going to start doing some free writing. Now, for those of you who aren't aware, free writing is essentially it's the act of putting pen to paper and starting to write and not stopping to write, and just writing, and not caring what comes out, not caring if it's words, not caring if it's squiggles, not caring if it's a doodle, just not allowing the pen to stop moving until I've filled about 3 pages. And it doesn't matter what's on those 3 pages. I don't go back and read those 3 pages. I don't care what I've written on those 3 pages. Those 3 pages are me getting the nervous energy out of my brain through my hand and allowing me to remain balanced in that way. What I'll typically do is I'll go back and I'll read my journals at least a year, but more often about 2 or 3 years after I've written them. And sometimes there's some really interesting stuff, some really insight into my mind and what it was that I was going through at the time. Um, and sometimes I'm like, wow, I was really stressed out on that day. Um, in many cases, the stuff that I'm stressed out about is stuff that I'm like, for example, the last time that I burned my journals, because I'll burn my journals eventually. Uh, in the end, it was really just my own brain detritus going onto those pages. But I remember burning my journals one year, and during a journal burning party that I hosted, and reading about like some of the things that had frustrated me so much. I think this guy had just this guy had ripped me off over like $30 or something. And I remember at the time I was so angry that I'd done the work and this guy had taken the work and then decided that he wasn't going to use the work, and so because he wasn't going to use the work, he wasn't going to pay me. And it wasn't like it was bad work; he had just decided to move in a different direction, and so he thought it was perfectly justified to not pay me for my labor. And I remember being so angry about this at the time and filling page after page after page of feeling used and abused over this $30. And when I went to go burn my journals and I read it again, I not only couldn't remember the work that I had done, I couldn't remember this guy's name, I couldn't remember this guy's face, I couldn't remember the situations in which I had met him. None of it mattered anymore. And so it gave me the lesson that I learned from those pages and pages of screaming about this person and what an asshole they were. The lesson that I learned was that this too shall pass, and that the things which are very, very important now will, over the course of time, become much less important, much less relevant. In fact, to the point where I've completely forgotten about them. And so if I've completely forgotten about it, or if I know that I will completely forgotten, if I know that I will eventually completely forget about it and it will be eventually completely irrelevant, then why not compress the timeline? Why not make it completely irrelevant now? Or why not make it at least less relevant now than it was originally? Why not say, instead of taking 3, 4, 10, 15 years to get over this stuff, how about just get over it in 6 months? How about get over it in 3 months? And of course, it's a lot easier to say get over it than it is to really get over it. Uh, and it's not really about getting over it. It's about the developing the mental discipline to realize that, because I know for a fact that it will eventually become not important anymore, then I can also know for a fact that I can compress that timeline, that it's possible for it to become not important anymore faster. And if that gives me peace, then to intentionally seek out that peace. And so I am balanced. I center my mind and my body, and I recognize that they're connected. I recognize that I have an energy body that exists in the same general vicinity of the physical one that I take care of every day. I'm going to get take care of today by going to the dentist. Not my favorite thing in the world. Gonna go do it anyways, though. Um, but yeah, in the end, I choose to center these things, and when I find myself out of center, then I will. Then I, out of center with my mind, then I will move my body. And when I find myself out of center in my body, and do I can't bring myself peace by changing the way that my body is, then I'll see what I can do about untangling the mess that's currently in my mind. And so I am balanced, and I find balance in this way. So I'm balanced today. You're balanced as well, and we center our mind and body. So, anyways, I want to say thank you guys so much for being here. It has been wonderful to see everybody on the wake up call, and I appreciate how people show up even when I sometimes miss a day. I missed a day this week. I just I just woke up in the morning, and I could not possibly drag myself out of bed. It was just fairly. I had had a rough night, and I just needed to sleep. I slept until like 11 a.m. that day. But I do appreciate everybody coming by for this message. Thank you so much for supporting the wake up call and for helping me to have reasons to get out of bed in the morning, because a lot of people just don't understand or don't realize that. But the wake up call really is my morning alarm. I could very easily find myself in incredibly deep depressions if I don't just get out of the bed in the morning and start doing stuff. And this is my accountability to do that. And so thank you for being part of my accountability. I hope that it is as valuable to you as it is to me. All right. So I'm going to head over to the dentist now. How fun that'll be. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow at 9 a.m. We'll go over an overview of all the cards for the week. There's going to be 4 of them. And but until then, I love you. I care about you. I appreciate you. I think that you're amazing. Thank you guys so much for being here on the call. And I will talk to you all tomorrow at 9 a.m. Until then, aloha from paradise.